All right, everybody, what's going on? It's Thundershot, and I'm here today with a special guest,
Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today.
and he's going to be helping me tackle my 20,000 subscribers special-esque thing. I did an Ask FM video a few days ago, actually, but I had a serious problem in that my file got corrupted and it didn't work, and then I deleted all the questions I answered in the video, so the questions didn't get answered for you guys, unfortunately, and my video didn't get put up. So if your question is any older than 18 or 19 days from now, I ask that you ask it again because they were all good questions. It just sucks that the video got spit up and I lost them. So please ask them again. I will answer them, I promise. But anyways, real quick before we get into this, let's talk about Qaaman's Ask FM. I get a lot of people on my Ask FM saying Qaaman never answers his questions. Would you like to retaliate to that in any way?
Yes, I'd just like to quickly say that, guys, I get a lot of questions, but I do answer as many questions as I possibly can. And the thing is that even if the questions aren't being answered, you can still have them, and it's not necessary for you to repeat the questions because I will eventually get to them. It's just I have to go through a lot. And please don't pester Thundershot asking him questions for me on this video.
Asking him questions twice just only lengthens his job. Plus, like, I have like 141 questions in my bank now, but you have, is it in the thousands?
I have about 3,200.
Yeah, and you did just make a video answering questions on your channel, right?
Yep.
Alright, just to make sure. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. Have you seen Qaaman's new video on the Ginyu Force? If so, how would you rank the middle three members in terms of power? So I'm assuming this question's aimed at me.
Well, let's just say it's not Qaaman's new video anymore.
Well, this was 18 days ago.
Yeah,
Keep that in
no.
mind.
I know.
I start at the bottom. I go from bottom to top.
Yeah.
So that way the oldest questions can get answered because they've been waiting a while. But, no, I've seen your new video while I was in it. I was in part of it, so... Yeah, there was that, but how to rank the middle three members in terms of power, and I've actually had this discussion with Qaaman before, but I always think, and mainly just because he went first, even though there's really no way to know for sure, I always think Raccoon is just a little bit weaker than Birder and Jace. I think Birder and Jace are the same in terms of power, but if I have to pick one, I would have to pick Birder because Jace is willing to acknowledge that Birder is the fastest thing alive, even though he clearly isn't, but if Jace is willing to be like, yeah, you're the fastest thing alive, then Jace is acknowledging that Birder's faster than him, thus, I think, making Birder the better fighter. But that's just me. What do you think?
Well, I actually explained it in the video, but long story short, my list has always been Guldo and Ginyu at the ends, and I always felt that Raccoon was actually the strongest physically out of those three. I always felt that Birder was the fastest, and I always felt that Jace was actually the second strongest. And the reason to explain this really shortly is in the manga, Krillin actually says that when Goku knocked out Raccoon in that one hit, he actually says, wow, Goku just knocked out that Raccoon guy, and Raccoon is almost as strong or he didn't say almost as strong, he says he has about the same power level as, you know, Birder and Jace, so they're all around the same. So I say Raccoon is the fourth weakest, or I guess you would say second weakest, followed by Birder, who's in the middle, and Jason second. That's just my list.
Okay, I got you. Alright, next question. What do you think would happen if Goku and Gohan would have went with Nappa, Vegeta, and Raditz? Do you want to start this one?
Let me think here. If Goku and Gohan would have went with Nappa, Vegeta, and Raditz, well, I can't really think of how that would happen based on Goku's mentality. I think Goku would rather die before he joined forces with them. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think let's just, for the sake of argument, let's just say, I don't know, Goku gets hit on the head or something, but he decides to take Gohan and go with him. The Earth would probably inevitably be destroyed by would the androids even show up if Goku's gone? There's a whole lot of what-if scenarios that come out of this, but I think unless Frieza hunts him down and decides to kill him, they just keep doing that whole buy planets, sell planets thing.
And they would eventually get to Earth at some point.
Yeah, you think they would have to.
Yeah, I mean, considering that Frieza's empire expands so much, and considering Frieza has 79 planets, but you know what, when you think about it, Thundershot, 79 planets is nothing compared to how big the universe is. So, I mean, Frieza would probably not even get to Earth for, like, in his lifetime, unless he becomes immortal.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of what-ifs that could come out of that one, but good question nonetheless. Alright, I'm going to let you both read and answer this next question. I'm going to stay out of it, so go right ahead.
You're leaving me out here alone, Thundershot.
just for this one.
Have you seen Qaaman's face? Yes, I have seen Qaaman's face. As a matter of fact, when I woke up this morning, I went to the mirror and I saw his face, and you know, he looked exactly like me.
That is actually Qaaman's YouTube profile picture is a selfie he took. And I know what you're thinking. Both of his hands are in the photo. How do you take a selfie? And the answer is he's just that good. So we're going to move on from there. But
what I did was I used my Kai to move to move my camera phone. And what happened is I kind of used the force to like take a picture. You know how like all characters, you know, in the Z world.
Oh, I thought we were bringing Star Wars into this. Never mind.
Oh, it's a combination of both. All worlds are meant together.
I gotcha. I just assumed you had like a foot holding the phone in some weird position. But all right, anyways. Moving on. Who was your favorite between Vegeta and Kakarot? You can go into detail with different picks or different traits such as strength, morals, intelligence, etc. Or you can just go from an overall perspective. I'm going to go ahead and just do this quickly.
Sure.
I am not, and I just had a video come out on spoilers who my favorite villain is, and it ended up being Vegeta out of all the villains, but I'm not a huge Vegeta fan. I mean, yeah, he saved their butts on Namek, that's for sure, but he's the reason Cell came out. He's the reason Majin Buu got released. It's debatable that the androids wouldn't have got put out if Vegeta wasn't there. So, I don't know. Not that I don't know. It's Goku. I like Goku better, but I've never been a huge Vegeta guy.
I'll just quickly say that out of those two, Goku's my favorite, and simply because of the fact that he has obviously, you know, the most consistent personality in the series. Obviously, Vegeta has more character development considering, you know, he was evil, but what I like about Goku is that he doesn't mess around when the stakes are really, you know, at the top.
Yeah, I gotcha. Alright, moving on. Who would win in a fight? Super Saiyan God Goku, Super Saiyan 5 Vegeta, or is it Scissors?
Psychor. It's from a fan-made fiction.
I have not. I want to start looking into like multiverse and stuff like that, but I have not looked into any fan-made fiction. I could not tell you that.
I saw this one with Zycor. I think it was I know it wasn't Absalon, but it was like an older one with Zycor's like the son of Goku, and Goku had sex with like some Supreme Kai or something like that. It was really weird, but it was okay.
I gotcha.
I guess I'd say Super Saiyan 5, considering I think Super Saiyan 4 would be stronger.
God Goku is the only canon. God Goku wins. I'm just moving on. Who is the weakest character in all of DBZ?
Well, they didn't say Z Fighter, so yeah, by default, I'd say a Fly. I mean, I guess it would be like the weakest entity on Earth because, I mean, okay, if we're going by character, I guess out of the weakest character of the Z Fighters, I would say Chaozu would be the weakest. But I'd say out of just characters in general, I'd say Turtle.
Turtle? He can still fight. He slapped those dudes around when they came to pick up Bola. Turtle smacked him around a bit. I'm going to take a cheap cop-out and say Captain Ginyu as the frog.
Oh my god, I love that. But what I would say though is, hey man, I got some proof with the turtle. The turtle's power level is 0.00001 as it was stated, so I got my hands on the turtle being that weak.
Probably a filler episode I was looking at or something, but Turtle smacked some dudes around. I remember that happening. But
it was the guys who was trying to, I think it was the guys who were hitting on Marin.
Marin, that's who it was. Yeah. I said Bullet, didn't I? Oops.
Yeah.
Wrong kid. If you had to join any branch of the military, what would it be?
Marines.
Yeah, Marines are definitely probably the most badass out of that. Air Force is kind of an option. If they weren't looked at as like easily the weakest branch out of all of them, I don't think National Guard would be that bad of a job, but they're always like, the National Guard's always like the bottom of the list. They make fun of it on that 70 show and stuff, but I don't know. I'm not a huge military guy, so. Alright, so let's say the Saiyans believed Bardock and joined forces with him against Frieza. Do you think the combined might of the Saiyan race could defeat Frieza and his men? Why or why not? And if you don't think they could, what would it take for the Saiyans to defeat him? Do you try this one first? There's a lot to take in here.
Sure, I'll start off by saying that I don't think that the Saiyans would have been able to defeat Frieza, but I think that if they joined together, they'd be able to defeat Frieza's men. And I say that considering the fact that they can go into Ozaru, which multiplies their power by 10. So let's say a guy like Bardock has a power level of like 10,000, which I heard it was in some sources. if Bardock, you know, obviously went into Ozaru form, that 100,000 plus power monkey plus all the other Saiyans, they could easily beat all of Frieza's men plus the Ginyu Force. Especially considering, you know, I also thought about something Thundershot, considering the fact that Frieza's men were that strong on Namek, they would have been even weaker back then considering the time. So I think they could defeat Frieza's henchmen, but I don't think they could beat Frieza, and I think they would need a Super Saiyan to beat him.
Well, think about how, like, it would have to be a few days, obviously, but Bardock apparently was not very far off from being able to go Super Saiyan, technically. Now, I don't know if Bardock Super Saiyan could quite defeat Frieza. I feel like that would be weaker than Goku's Super Saiyan just because of their base forms. I don't think Bardock's base power level could be nearly as high since he was having trouble with first form Frieza. But, no, well, I will say this. If they all became, well, 5 of them became pure of heart and held hands.
Oh my god!
What Bardock essentially could be a Super Saiyan god right in there, you know what I mean? And then I would think after that he would be able to defeat Frieza.
You know what, Thundershot? You know what I find so funny, man? You remember they had to ask for the Pan who was unborn in the Dell to be the last one.
We're not 100% sure that that's Pan, by the way, because they might. Well, no, we are. We have to be because she was at the end of. Never mind. I watched the English version today. I watched the English Battle of the Gods, and she keeps referring to the child as a him, which threw me off a little bit.
But, you know, what I find funny is that, you know, Goku needed the 6 Saiyans, but, I mean, if you think about Planet Vegeta, you know, Bardock has so many choices.
Yeah.
What I do want to add really quickly, though, is that you said that Bardock was close to being a Super Saiyan. I honestly think he was pretty far. I mean, I think that whole episode of Bardock was nice and all, but I don't think he would have turned Super Saiyan for a lot more training, plus a lot more Zenkai boosts.
Yeah, it would. It's kind of a stretch to think that the episode of Bardock actually happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it could be considered me. But thank you, Johnny, for the question. I gotta remember, I'm really bad about remembering to shout out people's names. But thank you, Johnny. A repeat question of who is the weakest in DBZ.
Are you ready for the answers?
Yep. Why is Frieza evil? Did Cooler did something to him, or was his father that evil? I'll take this one because I did a video on this.
Go ahead.
Quite a while back, but there was an interview with Akira Toriyama where he actually did some background explanation on Frieza and where the Cold family came from. Now, Cooler is not necessarily canon because he was never talked about in the anime, although he does have movies and he appears in a filler episode of the anime and all that stuff. But as far as Frieza's concerned, Frieza's dad, King Cold, they said he was a product of some kind of mutation, some kind of, I don't know if it was genetic or radiation or something like that, but some kind of, he's a mutant that formed out of something that is completely unnatural. And then he by himself birthed Frieza. So he did like the Namek thing kind of, but he like with no other being just gave birth to Frieza, and apparently Cooler, if Cooler exists, if we're going that route.
Thundershot, I'm kind of upset that you're saying this because you know how I hate proving Toriyama wrong, but let's just say he's contradicting his own manga, and I don't want to sound. It wouldn't
surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Now I know Black and Fist is kind of hard on him at times, where he says Toriyama says crazy things, but that's a direct contradiction because in the manga, when Goku hit Frieza, Frieza said nobody's ever been able to hurt him besides his parents.
Oh, I do remember that.
So saying parents implies that you have more than one parent. So that's a direct contradiction.
Maybe King Cold used the multi-form technique when he hit Frieza as a child.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. We're trying to make Toriyama make sense, but it's hard.
Guys, I want to know in the comment section below. Let's just be honest. Thundershot and I have this question. Do Thundershot, Black and Fist, and myself know more about Dragon Ball Z than Toriyama? I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, you would obviously think, well, no, they didn't create the show, but it's starting to get to that point where it's like, I'm starting to think we know more about his own show than himself. And
well, here's the thing. I think, like, we still study it, and he kind of just writes it, and then when it's out, he tries to remember it later. Like, the whole reason, what's-her-name, Launch never made it into DBZ is because he forgot about it.
He forgot about her, right. And she actually was in it, though, but very briefly.
In that filler, yeah, you told me about that in the background of that one. But, and then, like, the reason Trunks and Goten didn't have tails, he just forgot that they were supposed to have tails. Like, that's, he said that in interviews before, he's like, I just forgot. So he, not all there, contradicts himself a bit. I mean, Gohan goes Super Saiyan in Battle of the Gods, which is a whole different topic and all that stuff. But it's just Toriyama, man.
Yeah. But you gotta love him, though, man. He made the best show that's making us money.
Do you want to read the next question?
Yes. LOL. I need help in Dragon Ball Budokai 3. Trying to get rid of the Sim Dragon. Help, please. I thought you haven't played the game.
Oh, I did play that game a long time ago, but it was a long time ago, and I no longer own it, so I'm sorry. I can say look up guides. I'm sure they're all over YouTube, because it is the most popular DBZ game out there, but that's about all I got.
I'll quickly say I've actually beaten Sim Dragon a bunch of times. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. When I was in my prime, I don't think there are many people on the planet, if anyone, who could beat me in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and I'm not trying to showboat, but I was madly good at that game, to the point where people would always... I beat a team of Super Saiyan 5 Gojitas against
Super Saiyan 4?
So, I'm sorry, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I'm sorry, because, he had, like, that whole color change where he looks like Super Saiyan 5. Like, yeah. I just beat... I would, like, beat Super Saiyan 5 Gogeta... I'm sorry, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Goku, Omega Shenron. I just beat, like, a team of all Super Saiyan 4 type characters and, like, just wiped them out with Super Saiyan 2 Team Gohan on normal difficulty while I was fighting custom characters, and that's how I knew I was insane at that game. So I just say, use Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and just be dominant. Or if you want to cheat, use Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and everything should be easy.
Alright. If Teen Gohan kept training after the Cell Saga, would you think that he would be stronger than Goku? This is a debate. We've talked about this quite a bit, actually.
No question.
Yeah, I mean, he already had Goku by a good little bit, and if he would have... Well, it's hard to say because Goku has Otherworld training.
Well, that's true, but, I mean, Gohan has such an advantage that maybe Goku would, close the gap, but I think if Gohan was training, I think he would have been way stronger than Goku.
You think he could have got Super Saiyan 3?
Oh, definitely, considering Goten and Trunks did it, and he's older, and his body's more developed than them.
So I would have loved to have seen it, but it's iffy, because Vegeta, and granted, Vegeta was a long way behind Goku, and even further behind Gohan, but Vegeta did nothing but train from the end of one saga to the next.
But you gotta factor in that, you remember Goku went Super Saiyan 3 because of the fact that, he was in Otherworld, so it was less stress on his body. I think Gohan could turn Super Saiyan 3, I'm not sure if he would, but I definitely think he definitely could. I think he has the potential if he pushed himself in the right way.
That's the way, and that's always the route I wish they would have taken. I wish after the Cell Saga, Gohan would have been the new guy, and Gohan would have showed up and did all that stuff. But that's just because I love Gohan to death and didn't like to see him become a nerd.
Yeah.
Alright, do you want to...
You can imagine how I felt, about Piccolo, which is the next question.
Yeah, do you want to read and take that one?
Is Piccolo technically a god? Yes, actually, technically he is, because Kami... If you know anything about Japanese translations, Kami is a direct translation for God, and Piccolo fused with Kami, who is the original Namek, which technically means Piccolo's kind of a god.
Okay, so if Kami is God, what does Kai mean?
What is what?
Kai, like the North Kai.
Oh, well, they're basically gods too. I remember Goku called King Kai a god at some point in the manga, so directly all of them are gods. But and then, the Supreme Kais are like bigger gods, and the Grand Kai is just filler.
What does that make Lord Beerus?
He's the god of destruction.
There's too many gods.
Oh my god. Oh, look what
Funny.
I just said.
Good pun. I got you.
Alright.
Thank you, Pedro Solorzano, for the question.
He's all over my question section too.
Alright, well, I always butcher names like to all hell, so here we go. You know what? I got a question. Well, you came to the right place, buddy. What would have happened if Majin Buu turns pure evil Buu into chocolate and ate him? Would it appear the same Super Buu? This is a good question. We've been talking about this so much. But Maniac was here. Thank you for the question. So basically, I think what he's asking is, what if Fat Buu, what if the good Fat Buu would have beaten Evil Buu and eaten him?
I mean, it's hard considering Fat Buu was so much weaker how that would have happened, but that's a very good question, because if he ate him, I think Buu would have been mostly good. And I think he would have been what he was before.
Would he have stayed Fat Buu? I almost think he would have taken the form of Super Buu, but been Good Buu. Because that's like, he split himself in half, and then Evil Buu won, and then they got re-merged together, except The reason he split himself in half, I believe, in the first place is because he was fighting with himself. Half of him was good, half of him was bad. But when he split, the reason Super Boo was bad is because Bad Boo won. So he got the strength of Fat Boo back, but then the evil side was in control. So I think in the flip scenario, we would probably get the same look in Super Boo, but he would be good. He would be a good guy. He would be like Fat Boo now.
Well, I think it's kind of confusing considering the fact that, you know, Fat Boo already had Evil Boo in him. He was just like another entity, but he wasn't absorbed. So I agree he could be Super Boo with just, you know, more of a nicer personality, but it's way too confusing. The whole Boo thing is just way too much.
That might be a video topic in itself, but alright, moving on. Didn't when Goku lost his hair in Battle of Gods movie, when he lost his red hair, didn't he keep God form inside of himself but could still go Super Saiyan, but still had the power of that God? I get what he means, and I just watched the English dub, so...
You're perfect for this, man.
Yeah, and it was rough in the Japanese translated version because Beerus says, you seem to have retained most of your power, which left a huge question, because how much is most? Was he like 80% of what he was as a god? Is he like 50% of what he was as a god? Because he keeps fighting with Lord Beerus. And in the English dub, it's clear as day. He says your body seems to have learned it, so he pretty much kept all of what God was. And I don't know if him transforming into Super Saiyan really makes him stronger or not, because Akira had that recent interview where he said Goku realizes in Battle of the Gods that Super Saiyan 2 and 3 are pointless and burn his energy, so I don't know how much stronger going Super Saiyan actually makes him, but he did keep Super Saiyan God powers in his base form, yes.
You basically nailed it. I have nothing to say, man.
Alright, you want to read the next one?
When did Gohan lose his Mystic Form Ultimate? Did he ever one more why he couldn't go Super Saiyan, or did he kind of have Saiyan form in him already? Thundershot, you probably know as well as I do, and for those of you who have been subscribed to me since the dawn of time, you would know I did a video a very long time ago called Can Mystic Gohan Turn Super Saiyan? And that video is currently on private because number one, it was a bad video because it was very early in my editing career, and at the same time I said a lot of wrong facts. I don't know how to answer this question, and I'll be honest, I've done research on it and it just shows that it's just an inconsistency in the series. Technically, I remember reading that originally in the Japanese manga that the Elder Kai said if Gohan were to turn Super Saiyan, he'd cause the universe to explode. Now, I own the Viz manga versions, all 26 of them, and I didn't find that, but I thought it was only said in the original Japanese manga. Turns out that that was a lie, so that never actually happened. So I just think he can turn Super Saiyan because the editors just don't care.
I will tell you this, like I said, I just got done watching Battle of the Gods. When he went up to go fight Beerus, because Beerus is ruining the party, everyone charges Beerus. Gohan goes up to fight him. He doesn't turn Super Saiyan. He powers up as his ultimate or mystic Gohan form when he goes to fight. So when he was ready to fight, he went to go fight Beerus as Ultimate Gohan. So no, I don't think he ever lost his power. However, later when they're trying to turn Goku into a god, they all go Super Saiyan. So I don't think it gives him any kind of power boost. I just think he went Super Saiyan to maybe it would help him transfer their power to Goku, or because everyone else was doing it. Now we know Super Saiyan isn't necessary because Videl brings the kid in, and then the first Super Saiyan god didn't need it. But I think he can go Super Saiyan if he wants to, but I don't believe it actually changes his power any.
Well, those are our theories, but at the end of the day, this is a question that cannot be answered. But I definitely think this next question is just for you, Thundershot.
Are you A, asexual, B, bisexual, C, homosexual, or D, heterosexual? What is the Nameks are asexual, right?
Yes.
Alright, I'm asexual. Next.
I am a heterosexual, guys. I am attracted to females.
Alright, there we go. Oh, here we go. I'll take this one. Don't worry about it. I got you. Are you getting frustrated by people asking Qaaman and Black and Fist questions on your account? I did that thing for a few days where I was just telling everyone who asked me, because I was getting questions. People would ask me when I opened my Ask FM account, people would ask me questions specifically like, hey, is Qaaman there? Can he answer this? Hey, is Black and Fist there? Well, tell him to answer this. And it's because I just opened mine, and I had been answering mine like without, like I wouldn't make a video on it. I would just go through and type out a lot of answers. Mm-hmm. And I told people I was going to do a video with both you guys in it, which hasn't got to happen yet, but hopefully it will.
Except now.
Yeah, except now. And so I would just spam them your Ask FM accounts. But no, it didn't frustrate me. I just didn't fully understand why. And I kind of do now because you guys get more questions than I do, so you don't get the chance to answer all of them like I have been. Or at least most of mine that I've been answering anyways. But no, it doesn't bother me. I just kind of wish it would stop, I guess. I mean, I understand group questions for us. I understand questions for me, obviously. But if there's a question specifically for Qaaman or specifically for Black and Fist, it makes no sense to leave it on my Ask FM account.
Well said, my friend.
All right, I'm going to have you read this next question because I want you to pronounce that guy's name for me.
Funny, Thundershot. Which movie is worse, Avatar: The Last Airbender or Dragon Ball Evolution? Qaaman said he loves Dragon Ball Evolution, and his name is Elvacular.
Okay.
And he's actually been, I think that guy's asked me a question several times. Well, I think Dragon Ball Evolution was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. As a matter of fact, I think it was the greatest movie, and I'm not just counting Dragon Ball Z movies or Dragon Ball. I'm counting like films, you know, like war movies, like Saving Private Ryan, Goodfellas.
Avatar. Not the Last Airbender, but the good Avatar with the blue people, the Smurfs.
Right, I think Evolution clearly beats it. It's not even a competition. I mean, Evolution is clearly the greatest film of all time, no question.
Okay, well, I disagree with you entirely. I haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender because it looked awful. I saw Dragon Ball Evolution because I felt it was my duty as a Dragon Ball fan to hate that. And I saw Dragon Ball Evolution, and without seeing Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm going to tell you Dragon Ball Evolution was worse. We'll agree to disagree on that one. Next movie, or next question.
This is definitely a question that both of us need to answer.
If we fused, what would our name be? Go.
I'd say Qaaman Shot or Thunderland.
Thunderland? Oh, excuse me, my microphone, I dropped it. Thunderland?
Thunderland or Qaaman Shot, either one of those.
See, I was thinking of shortening it. It would either be Thunderman or Quashot.
I think
Quashot could be like the beginning of quad, because that's a huge thing in Call of Duty and other games, is getting quad feeds where you kill 4 people at once. So Quashot could be like 4 shots at once.
I actually think I think Thunderman is actually probably the most realistic one. I mean, it sounds like a real one.
I'm pretty sure Thunderman was like an awful 80s superhero idea that got scrapped or something. It has to be. There's no way a superhero company has let the name Thunderman slip by without using it yet.
All right. We got that one.
All right. What do I think of Amy Winehouse? I have no opinion on Amy Winehouse. I didn't listen to her music very much. And then she did drugs and died, and I'm not going to think she's a horrible person for that, but I have no opinion.
Do you
have an opinion on Amy Wine? Okay.
I liked the music, but I wasn't a big fan. Like, I would hear her when, you know, her music was playing, but she wasn't the type of artist that I specifically said, I need to go online to listen to some Amy Winehouse, but she was okay.
You weren't like front row at the concerts or anything?
No.
Okay. So, I feel like Black and Fish should be here for this, but it'll be okay. If we had a 3-way fusion, what would our name be?
I've given this a lot of thought because of that secret thing that we've been planning for our subs, and I've come to this conclusion. Qaaman's Thunderfist.
Thunderfist sounds like an awful new, like, I don't know, technique happening that would be used in the bedroom. That's why I would steer clear. But all right, what about
I can't think of anything better.
Black and Shot Man? I have no idea. Yeah, I'm gonna move on. I got nothing for that one. Repeat of If We Fused.
We already got this.
Were you born with a penis or a vagina?
Penis!
The doctors actually thought I had a third leg and a full-blown beanbag chair down there for some reason. It turned out to just be my penis and balls, but they were pretty impressed for a little while. Anyways, do you like DBZ sprite animation? I know this guy. He's messaged me a little bit, and I really don't have a preference. I don't like go and look for DBZ sprite animation, but it can be cool, I guess.
That's interesting.
Do you want to read the next question?
Wouldn't Ultimate Gohan be able to hold off Kid Buu since he's stronger than Goku, and Goku held him off? To be completely honest with you, I think it would have been much better if the Z Fighters just used the Dragon Balls to wish for Gotenks, or Goten, Trunks, and Gohan to come to Planet Namek and fight Buu. That would have basically ended the problem right there, but they didn't. They wanted to use the Spirit Bomb to make everybody seem like they're all together, even though the better solution was staring them in the face.
Yeah, because that's why Goku didn't finish off Fat Buu in the first place, because he wanted to give Gohan and everybody else a chance to save the world. Like those are, I just watched that episode the other day. Actually, those were his words. And then he ended up using the Spirit Bomb. But yeah, bringing those guys back and letting them actually finish it off, which Gohan definitely could have for sure. I don't know if Gotenks could have taken Kid Buu by himself, but I know Gohan like almost guaranteed could have wiped out Kid Buu. Since I was gonna say since Super Saiyan 3 Goku was holding his own, and we know Ultimate Gohan's like almost a league above Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
Yeah. Most sources though would say that Gotenks would probably beat Kid Buu, but it all depends on what source. The Buu Saga is just confusing with all those transformations. Alright.
Yeah. I'll take this one just because it's aimed at me. How do we know when you're going to do a stream of fights on Raging Blast 2? I will upload a video about it. It's taken a lot of time because I'm trying to find a time that both Earth 2 Sailor and I can make this stream, and that might not happen. I might just have to do it myself. But I've been trying to get that worked out. But as soon as I know the date, I will make a video and put it on YouTube, and then you guys will know the date. So trust me on that one.
What he said.
Alright, do you want to read the next question? You want to take that one?
If you had a fight with Goku, what Super Saiyan transformation would you use and what attack would you use? Ah, interesting. I would go Super Saiyan God. No, no, that's too complicated. I don't want to like have my friends do it for me. I would go Super Saiyan 4 and I would use instant transmission first to pull up his tail if he had one and give me the advantage.
Tough. I was gonna say, we're including GT. Like, if I'm going just off Z, instant transmission Kamehameha Wave is a pretty solid one. I think my favorite move I ever saw done in all of Dragon Ball Z, and I was talking crap on him earlier, but Vegeta's shot on Cell right when Cell becomes perfect. When he sits there and he knows he's weaker, but he sits there for like 10 minutes and builds up that final flash and shoots him and blows his body in half. Now, Cell regenerates and it eventually amounts to nothing, but that final flash was insane. So I would probably use that and whatever Super Saiyan form Goku was using. So,
Alright.
Since you're not a WWE guy, I'll take this next one. Thoughts on Randy Orton? He's okay. I mean, they could give him back the belt and I wouldn't be too upset about it, but hopefully right now he's getting his butt kicked somewhere by Roman Reigns because that's who I'm rooting for. But no, Randy Orton's not a bad wrestler by any means. I don't mind seeing him in the spotlight at all. I just wish he was having I wish he was having a feud with Cena right now, or Reign, I don't know. Get the belt off Cena. Anyways, next question.
Bobby Lashley for the win is all I have to say. Alright.
You want to take that one?
If you had one wish, what would it be? It'd be, I'm just going to be honest, if I had one wish, it would be permanent youth.
Damn, that kicked the shit out of my answer. I was going to say just an insane amount of money because, like, you thought outside the box, though. Because with an insane amount of money, you can do anything you want for the rest of your life. But no, permanent youth is probably better. Because all you have to do is find a livable income and then you never die. But
yeah, that's true. So at some point, you're going to be rich.
And after you hit, like, age 200, they're going to put you on display and crap like that because you haven't aged and doctors are going to pay to study you and stuff. So, yeah, you'd be fine. That was your wish definitely beat mine. Do you want to take this next one?
Thoughts on Berserk? I'm not sure what they're referring to. Thundershot?
Neither am I. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific on what exactly Berserk is. But you can re-ask your question and I'll take another look at it. But you're going to have to at least give me something I can Google to get an idea of what it is. I feel like Berserk's a semi-commonly used term. But we've already kind of answered this one. Did Gohan lose his ultimate form after Kid Buu died? I don't believe so.
No, I don't think
Was Gohan Mystic at the time of Broly's second coming? I don't think so.
I know for sure. Well, I did a video on this.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely wasn't, right?
Yeah, I said that the only point of time where Broly's second coming could have taken place would have been the 10-day gap before the martial arts tournament. regardless of if you accept it or not, that's the only possible time that could have fit, so he wasn't.
Yeah, and plus Ultimate Gohan could have taken Broly like with great ease. I think the only reason he couldn't handle him very well in Super Saiyan 2 form is because he hadn't trained in a long time. Yeah. But why wasn't Gohan able to turn Super Saiyan when he was Ultimate? We kind of talked about that earlier. I feel like we covered that one for the most part.
Yeah, basically, we kind of already indirectly answered this.
Packing order.
Elvacular. Packing order? Thundershot, you want to help me out here?
I think maybe his English isn't so good, or maybe he did a typo or something, but I think he might be yelling pecking order, which is a line from Popo in Team 4-Star. Like anytime Krillin speaks up or anything, Popo will be like, pecking order, and then Krillin will shut up, and it's funny.
Ah, that's probably what he's referring to, the Team 4-Star reference. Alright.
Yes, very good one. Same guy. Also, if Black and Fist is Jesus, are you Moses and Qaaman Muhammad?
Are you serious?
I don't think that's how it works. Because Jesus and Moses come from one, but I think Muhammad comes from something different.
I have nothing to say to this. I can't believe a person would actually act this way. Elvacular, you are a funny man, my friend.
I think Qaaman could stay Muhammad, but I think I would have to be Buddha then, just so that way we have different religions all in there.
I worship Kami. Alright, let's move on.
You want to take the next one?
If you fusion
we've done that one already.
Qaaman, what will the name be? Yes. Oh, you're perfect for this one.
I don't know his age. I know he has an IQ of over 300, but I would guess Eggman was in his 50s. It's hard to tell because Sonic is 16. He was 16 when it started, and he's still 16. So I need to look up how old Eggman is at the time it begins. Part of me wants to say he's a couple hundred years old for some reason. I don't know why I want to say.
I'm sorry, Thundershot. I was just gonna say, I think Eggman is like, I agree with you. I'd say he's like in his 50s to 70s, but I'd say 60s. Like, he looks like he's an older guy.
Yeah, because there's a game, well, in the Sonic Adventure 2 playthrough I did, his grandfather did a thing like 50. Eggman would probably have to be around 50-ish. That is a fact worth Googling, though, and if anyone Googles it, leave it in the comment section down below, please. Alright. Are all Sonic games related in a timeline like in the Zelda universe? I am not your guy for that. If that was some kind of Dragon Ball timeline question, Qaaman would be your guy for that. But I am a Sonic fan, yes. But it's hard to say that they're all related in the same universe because there's, like the newer ones, they're in cities that actually resemble countries that we live in and stuff like that. And then in the original, there's Angel Island and Angel Zone where islands are floating in the sky and all that stuff. So it's hard to say for sure, but that is another fact worth YouTubing on somebody else's channel or Googling perhaps.
Well, can I just quickly add, because I'm actually, pretty familiar with both Sonic and Zelda, and I did
go for it.
And what I was gonna say is that I think I agree with Thundershot, because I don't think they could possibly be related in the sense that a lot of these Sonic games were made in the 80s, just like the first Zelda game. So if they were to make like a consistent timeline, it's kind of hard to just take those Sonic games that virtually have no plot. And I'm sure you remember those plotless Sonic games where you just run around. They
actually had plots written in the instruction booklet, but they usually weren't much more elaborate than Eggman is taking animals and putting them in robots.
Yeah, basically. So, I definitely don't think they could possibly be connected. And if they do, they have to start the consistency with the newer games, not the older ones.
I gotcha. Top 5 Sonic characters. I'm not going to give you a top 5 because that's huge for me, but everyone knows my number 1 is Shadow. My number 2, even though they're making him a moron, he's kind of always been a moron, but I've always really liked Knuckles. And I am a fan, just as a villain, of Eggman. I really like Eggman. You want to do a top 5 or top 3?
Sure. I guess my top 5, I actually loved Sonic when I was a kid. I'd say number 1 would be Shadow 2. I think number 2 would be Tails. Number 3 would be Shadow. I'm sorry, number 3 would be Sonic. Number 4 would be Big the Cat, because I always found him hilarious.
There are so many people who hate Big the Cat.
And number 5 would be Emerald. But Thundershot, we just did one with questions. I think you kind of overlooked the question. Rank your top 5 Sonic games.
Oh, there's a game? Oh, I did. I meshed the top 5 together. Here's a little side fact for you since we're on the Sonic thing. I don't know if I was quite 3 yet. I either wasn't quite 3 yet or just turned 3 years old, but the first video game I ever played was Sonic 2 on my grandmother's Sega Genesis when I was but a wee lad. And that's when I got started on gaming, so I've been doing this for a little while. Anyways.
Oh, okay.
Rank your top 5 Sonic games. Well, number 1 has to be Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Number 2, as bad as it is, it's not a bad game, just as low as it ranks on the list, because I haven't played all the Sonic games, especially the newer ones. That's hard. I guess I'm going to pick Sonic Heroes, and then I'm just going to make this another top 3 list, and then number 3 would be Sonic 2, like one of the original. Sonic 1, in my opinion, wasn't like one of the best games of all time, but I think Sonic 2 was, for the sake. They cleaned up a lot of stuff that they screwed up in the first one. Anyways, do you have a top 5 or top 3 or anything?
Yeah, I guess I'd say, wow, I'd probably have a top 5. I think obviously because of childhood, I'd put Sonic Battle number 1 because I really loved that game for the Game Boy Advance. It had a really good story too. I think number 2 would be Sonic Heroes, similar to you. I think Sonic Adventure 2 would be number 3. Sonic Adventure 1 would be number 4. And at number 5, Sonic X. It's a game for the GameCube. Do you know which one I'm talking about? It's Sonic X something.
No, the one I know of, I'm thinking for the Game Boy Advance.
Well, I'll tell Thundershot to put an annotation once I remember it at the end, because I actually have the games somewhere.
Okay.
Alright.
And this next question, have you ever played Sonic Battle for the GBA? No, but you have.
Yeah, I loved it. Awesome story with Emerald. It was just fantastic. I just loved everything about the game. Favorite Sonic game of all time.
And what do you think of Sonic X?
It was a decent show. I never watched. I'd say I'd watched like 30 episodes in total. It was okay.
See, Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what do you think?
I don't like, I've seen like an episode or two and I never cared for him because it was always just so different from the games. Like in the games you run around and you collect rings, try to get to the gold ring, but in the show, if he found like one ring, he was like walking on air. So I saw a couple episodes, but it never like super caught my attention. I've never read the Sonic comics, even though I'm pretty sure I should be doing that. And I always just played the games, and I didn't get to play all of them. You probably actually played more Sonic games than I have. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it.
Yeah, most of them I played in my childhood, though. Alright, let's see.
Sorry if I'm asking too many Sonic questions, but you're my favorite YouTuber, and I want your thoughts. Why can't Sonic swim? Well, thank you. And that's never really been explained. I guess he just died when he fell in water in the first couple of games because they didn't want to make him swim or whatever reason. It was written in that they couldn't swim, and they just always stuck to their guns with that one. They never changed Sonic. He can run on water now, but he can't swim if he falls in. I have no answer for that. Do you have anything?
I agree with you 100%. I think it was that basically he drowns when he swims on the game because they needed to make a way, of obviously having Sonic, die if you go to the water, and I think they kind of just carried that over in Sonic X the show, kind of like a little teaser at the games that Sonic can't swim. That's it.
Yeah, and he's afraid of the water for the most part. I mean, he'll still run across it, but there's a couple times I remember in the shows and stuff we would say he'd rather stay out of it. But all right, you can go ahead and take this next question.
Oh, thank you for giving me this question. What does it feel like to have a ball sack? Well, the thing is that I have my sack of balls for like sports like baseballs and footballs and basketballs, and it can be kind of heavy at times when you have a ball sack because when you're such a big sports fan like me, it's kind of hard carrying them all around and people asking you what game you want to play every second, but it gives you a good workout, if you know what I mean.
There was no better answer than that one right there.
All right.
All right. Have you ever had Old Bay potato chips?
Yes.
Were they good?
They were decent.
What are they like? Because I don't think I've had any.
I don't really notice the big difference between those potato chips and others, and you've never tried
them? I don't remember what does like the bag look like.
I think they were like bluish, yellowish bags, if I remember.
If I had, they weren't memorable enough for me to remember it right now. So, there you go. They're average chips. They're all right. Have you ever seen Mega's XLR, and if so, what are your thoughts on it? Never.
Oh man, that was an awesome show. I remember that show used to come on Toonami, like next to Samurai Jack, and I used to love watching Mega XLR. It was like, chicks dig giant robots, chicks dig giant robots. I remember I loved that show. It was awesome. I don't remember a lot about it because I was younger when I saw it, but it was a fun show.
You don't remember, did Samurai Jack get canceled before they finished it?
Yes.
That sucks.
I loved that show too.
Yeah, I liked it, and then he never got to. That's the worst news I've ever heard. All right, now I'm sad. Let's go. Top 5 favorite characters. You got to be more specific because there's a lot of characters in the world.
Well, by default, since Dragon Ball Z is like our most popular thing, I think
yeah.
we need DBZ. So let's go with DBZ. You can go first then. You go first.
All right. If I'm allowed to be specific, and I'm going to assume that I am because you're not here to retort. Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan ranks out at number 1, and I've actually thought, like, really, I've thought quite a bit on this next one on who my number 2 would be, and it's almost a tie for me, but I'm gonna go with, it's something really close between Future Trunks and Goku, and then whoever loses that one gets third, obviously. Number 4. See, this is something I would need to sit down and actually think about because there's a lot of processing that goes into things like these. But I'm probably going to redo this list later, but number 4 as of right now is probably Piccolo. And, oh, never mind, I take that back. Bump everyone down 1 notch, wherever they're at, just bump them all down 1 notch. Now we have 2 through 5 filled, and number 1, Yamcha. Yamcha, Supreme Ruler. All right.
I guess since I've answered these top 5 characters so many times, because I always get them on my questions, it's kind of easy. I remember it. Number 1 is Piccolo, and I put Gohan in second place because I really love Teen Gohan, but Teen Gohan isn't enough for me to overrule the entire Piccolo. So it's Piccolo, Gohan, followed by Vegeta. Then I'd say Future Trunks, because of his whole story and all of that. I really like the story. Then I'd put Goku. And then at least in 5, I would put... I mean, they said characters, they didn't say heroes, right? So
right.
I'd put Cell.
I gotcha.
Wait, did I say Vegeta? Yeah, I said Vegeta.
If I'm allowed to cheat a little bit, I really, really liked Vegito. Because he was cocky, because he was the strongest thing that had ever existed, pretty much. And we didn't even get to see close to his full potential. A lot of people almost forget, but if you think about it, Gotenks can go Super Saiyan 3. Goku can go Super Saiyan 3. Vegito could have easily gone Super Saiyan 3, but he could have ended Super Buu in his base form. He was getting cocky when he went Super Saiyan, when he was fighting Super Buu. And that was like the strongest villain of all time, almost, until the new stuff, obviously, but...
So, I guess I'd just say, long story short, now that I've revamped it, it's Piccolo, Gohan, followed by Vegeta, then Goku, and then Cell. That's it. Trunks is out of that list.
That surprises me just because I know you're a super huge Future Trunks fan.
Yeah. I just thought about it. I mean, he had a lot of flaws as a character. All right.
Future Gohan was a boss too, kind of. Not so much in the manga, but still.
Love him.
This question's directed at me, but it might apply to you also. Why is Pan the biggest failure of GT to you? It's hard to pick one. I do Pan because it's a short answer. GT had Goku Time had a lot of problems with it. Goku Time being one of them, but I just pick Pan because every time she's in the scene, I'm just like, shut up, shut up. She never helps. She helps like one time in the whole series where she actually does something good. She's usually screwing it up, and she's got an annoying voice, and she says stupid stuff. So yeah, there's a whole list of reasons why Pan is the biggest failure. I think if she was taken out, like let's just say, like if you're on a scale or whatever, and you were to rate GT like a 2 out of 10, if you take Pan out, of all of GT, I think it goes up to a 4 or 5 out of 10 on the scale. But that's just me. What do you think?
Well, Thundershot, you can't get more ironic than asking this question on a day that I uploaded my GT review part 3. And I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but it's kind of like you made a direct reference to something I said, because
oh yeah,
I actually mentioned this in the video about the whole Goku's Time thing, and I think in terms of Pan as a character, I don't think she was the biggest problem in the series, but I think that she just could have been so much better as a character if the series actually gave her more use. They just made her like a little follow-up girl to Goku and Trunks for the first quarter of the series. And then they basically just made her useless. Like, she only really had one use in the whole series, and that was when they were fighting against, I believe it was it was the 6-star dragon, I think. Oceanus Shenron. I think the
water one?
Yeah, the one with the aqua one that like spins around in tornadoes.
And she throws the Kamehameha wave to save Goku, yeah.
Yeah, that was the only time. Yeah, like Goku really needs to be saved from Pan. Goku could have gotten out of that if he really wanted to.
Yeah, if it's enough that Pan can break the concentration, Goku, yeah.
Goku was holding back against all those dragons. Besides,
who would win in a fight, Beavis or Butthead?
Well, I like big butts and I cannot lie, so I say Butthead.
I agree. I also say Butthead. You want to take this next one?
Oh, no, Thundershot. I think you're perfect for this one, bro.
Bugs Bunny or Trix the Rabbit? I was always a huge fan of the Bugs Bunny cartoons, and plus, Tricks are for kids, so I'm picking Bugs Bunny. That's what I'm going with.
I'm going with Bugs too, man. Bugs Bunny was awesome.
He was such a troll before the word even had the meaning that it does today. But this one's right up your alley. You go ahead and take this next one.
How strong is Piccolo at the end of Z? I've answered this before on my Ask, and I'd say he's around the strength. Well, if they're saying at the end of Z, which means, you know, when Goku took Oop to train, I'd say Piccolo was around the strength of possibly, I'd say he was in between Super Perfect Cell and Cell, just regular Perfect Cell. You gotta also factor in two things. Piccolo isn't that old, because you gotta factor in that Piccolo's only 3 years older than Gohan, so...
Yeah, that's insane.
Piccolo's not that old, so you can't say he was declining because of age, so I think he was around that strong in between, so he's pretty tough.
Yeah, and that's actually, like, really, I don't know, you hit a pretty good pinpoint getting it between Perfect Cell and Super Perfect Cell. Like, that's almost a tight fit from the looks of it, so...
I've thought about it for a while.
Do you think Beerus' English voice actor sounds like Dr. Eggman? That is a good question.
Quick question,
Maybe.
Thundershot. Is in the movie, in the English dub of Battle of Gods, is he called Bills or Beerus?
He is Beerus, and I saw it in an interview a while ago. I tweeted it out, but I didn't make a video on it because the interview wasn't that big. But it was an interview with all the people who are the voices, like Christopher Sabat and all them. And they talked about how in the original translation, they heard the way it was said, like it was said, I mean, you know, Beerus, and then the first way they heard it, so they said, okay, Beerus, the only way to possibly spell this is B-I-L-L-S, and this is like a really rough, from what I remember the interview. So they spelled it Bills. They knew it was pronounced Beerus, but when they put it Bills on the internet for English, everyone just called him Bills, and that's why, but his name is Beerus, and like once they got into the dubbing and everything like that, they changed the way they spelled it too, so...
Okay. Anyways, but does he sound like Eggman though?
Maybe. It's hard to tell. I feel like he sounds like what is in between the old Eggman and then the new Sonic Boom Eggman. I feel like he's in between the two of those.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Okay, you can have this next one because I think it requires a lot of thinking.
I can probably see the last two questions that we can end at if you're looking up above. But if the Elder Kai unlocked Goku's potential, how much stronger would Goku get? You want me to be completely honest? I don't think Goku would get any stronger because I think Goku's fought up to his potential. Maybe Goku has all this dormant potential inside of him, but honestly, I think Goku brings out the most of his potential. Thundershot?
Alright. I'm not inclined to disagree with that. I think a lot of people think that because Goku was stronger before Gohan got unlocked, that Goku would just become stronger after getting unlocked. But correct me if I'm wrong, does Supreme Kai pick Gohan specifically for that? Or did they just vote Gohan in for that guy?
Well, I think they just voted him in because Gohan was already there, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm inclined to agree with you, though, because Goku, that's all he did was train, and then he had the help from Otherworld and training and all that stuff, so... And since they're unlocking your maximum potential, I think you're right. I think Goku was living up to that already, so...
Alright.
I almost feel like Gohan's potential is basically it just got unlocked. Kind of like it did when he went Super Saiyan 2, except he quit training, but I feel like his potential got like reopened pretty much. I almost get that feeling from it. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. That's
interesting.
Rouge the Bat or Amy Rose? Do you want to take this one?
Well, I'm guessing they're meaning, I think they mean a fight or who's a better character. As a better character, I say Rouge the Bat, and in a fight, I'd actually take Rouge the Bat, so I take Rouge for both. She's
okay.
Awesome. What do you say, Thundershot?
In a fight, it's hard to say. I'm going to go with favorite character. Favorite character, first off, I like Amy Rose. I like the fact that she's... When they first made Sonic, obviously, and then it carried over when they introduced Amy Rose into the series, but when they first made Sonic, he's the anti-Mario. He's too cool for chicks. He's running around saving the world, whereas Mario is chasing the princess. And then they introduced Amy Rose, and she is just the opposite of a princess. Wherever Sonic is going killing bad guys, she's trying to run Sonic down because she's going to marry him, damn it. And I always love that about Amy. I always loved her style. And even though sometimes she becomes the damsel in distress, like she gets caught by Eggman or something like that, Rouge's character changes a lot from Sonic Adventure 2 to like Sonic Hero, well, kind of Sonic Heroes, but then even more from that. I feel like she gets caught a lot, and Shadow has to save her, usually is the one who bails her out. But I don't know, in a fight, if Amy hits a hammer shot, I think it's over, but aside from that, Rouge the Bat would probably win.
Well, you also got to factor in another thing, Thundershot. You know, Rouge has the... Maybe Amy's faster on the ground, but Rouge has the ability to fly, which adds so many different elements to the whole fighting scheme, because she can basically fly away whenever she wants to, and I think that gives her a major advantage. Plus, if you ever play Sonic Heroes, you would know that, what was it, Dark Team? Team Shadow or Team Dark?
Team Dark, it was Team Dark.
Yeah, Team Dark is like the hardest team to use for a reason.
Yeah, they were
like the badass characters.
That makes sense. Yeah, I played through, I only beat that game like one time, but I played through it a lot. I just never, ever liked to play Team Chaotix, so.
Yeah, Amy's team was the weakling team.
Right. Do you think Goku could have pulled out the Z-Sword?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, if Gohan can do it, I don't see, unless it's like a sword in the stone type thing, you know what I mean? Which technically it was, I guess, but if it's terms of strength, Goku has it. If it's not, if it is like the King Arthur, all hail King Arthur, then it might have just had to have been Gohan, you know? Okay, this one comes from a gentleman by the name of Qaaman, and it says, why was Mario Chalmers your favorite college player? Do you want to answer this one?
No, I have nothing to ask with this question.
Oh, okay. I don't know, I just picked him. I liked him at KU a lot. There was Brandon Rush was around at the time, and he was a super flashy player. Well, he wasn't flashy, just everyone looked at him as the best, but every game that I saw that I paid attention to, which was a lot of them around those years, I always thought Mario Chalmers was always a solid player who never messed up. And then Sharon Collins showed up, and he tried to be the it thing, and I still like Mario. And then Mario hit the shot to send him into overtime, where they inevitably won the national championship that year. And, of course, he got super huge after that, went to the NBA, went to the Miami Heat, got himself a couple rings. But... yeah, in college, Mario Chalmers was definitely my favorite player in that era.
Well, let me ask you...
He was solid.
Let me ask you this, Thundershot, now that, you know, this is by a famous gentleman by the name of Qaaman. How was your reaction to Mario hitting that shot in college? And at the same time, how do you think Mario has transferred to the NBA game? Whichever one you want to take.
Well, my reaction was about the same as everybody else watching in the bar that night. We all flipped out, and it was amazing. Like, it was one of the best moments in college sports history, probably. And he didn't transfer to the NBA well. And a lot of people call me a LeBron bandwagon fan, but I'm not. I started liking the Miami Heat the year Mario happened to get drafted. Like, that's pure coincidence because Mario got drafted. That's why I like the Miami Heat. And now, this year, as it happens, Andrew Wiggins went #1 of the Cavaliers. So I'm a Cavaliers fan now because I'm KU alumni for life. And Andrew Wiggins is at Cleveland, so I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, and I wish him the best of luck.
Well, let me just say this really quickly. You know, we're adding a little bit of basketball to this. You're probably going to end up being a Minnesota Timberwolves fan very, very, very soon because there's a lot of trade talk going on, like serious trade talk, saying that Kevin Love is almost definitely going to be traded by the end of the month. and at the end of the month, that's when, you know, Andrew Wiggins' contract allows him to be, you know, traded. So you're probably gonna follow the Timberwolves now, and that's basically it. All I gotta say.
Ah, crap. Okay. Scooby-Doo versus Courage the Cowardly Dog. Go.
What a perfect question to end today's video, isn't it? Like, just bringing up
sounds good to me.
all the childhood memories. Man, that's an awesome question to end this video. I say, you know what, Thundershot, let's just go all out on this question. I would say that Scooby-Doo has the size advantage on Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, they're fighting. Okay, I thought we were talking about better show, but keep going. Continue.
Well, the verses, you know, I think Scooby doesn't really show fear the way Courage does.
What?
Yeah, I mean, obviously both of them are very scared dogs at times, you know, in the series, because they both go. I mean, what I find is such a great comparison is both Scooby and Courage are in shows that are supposed to be scary. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Scooby has a size advantage, and Scooby is more brave than Courage, even though Courage can sometimes show bravery. So I also say that Scooby has more support with his friends, and, you know, he's, you know, become more in tune with humans, whereas Courage acts more like a human himself. So I think Scooby's true animalistic behaviors, even though he's around humans, would give him the edge over Courage, who's more anthropomorphic, as you would say. Who would win between you?
Well, actually, first, do you want to answer what show did you think was better?
Oh man, I gotta go with Courage the Cowardly Dog, but I love Scooby. Too many versions of it, though.
I'm gonna start with what show is better, and I'm gonna go off the original Scooby-Doo. Like even if you don't want to count it, don't count when they get scrappy. That's how original Scooby-Doo I'm going here. That's a classic. That is a crazy classic. But the one thing I remember, and I go back and watch them now, and I think they're pretty good. But the one thing I remember as a kid, I got bored during Scooby-Doo. Like obviously, when they were reruns, after I'd seen every episode a couple times, it would come on, and I would be bored because I don't know. It's not so much like I'm a kid. The colors are kind of bland. I've seen this before. It's the same song and dance almost every time. They catch him at the end. You know how it goes. Courage, albeit a newer show, was always a little bit more exciting to me. So I will think, well, Scooby-Doo is a classic, and we'll probably, if this was like a popularity contest, I think Scooby-Doo would win because all the older folks out there. I think I enjoyed Courage more. And then in a fight, that's really hard to say because as far as any kind of fighting we know from Scooby, he fought on occasion for Scooby snacks. That would happen every now and again, and I think that would be a huge advantage for him. But Courage was always... He always found a way to pull it out, you know what I mean? Like if Scooby pulled it out, sometimes it'd be because he ran into a closet and found there was a paraglider in there for some reason, and he got to go knock the enemy into a fire pit where they pulled his mask off or something. Courage always found a way around that. He always found a way to stop and kill the bad guy or take care of the bad guy himself. So I'm almost inclined to pick Courage in the fight unless Scooby gets a Scooby snack. That's my answer.
So you're basically kind of making this similar to like Popeye needing his spinach to win the fight. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, without really putting in weapons, like a hand-to-hand dog-eat-dog, you know, fight, I'm gonna have to say, I mean, Scooby's bigger. I mean, Scooby, you know, he's just more of a dog.
Yeah, you throw them both like in the bottom of a well and tell them fight to the death. I would say Scooby would win that one, then yes.
Well, this was a great question, wasn't it, Thundershot?
Yes, it was.
All right.
All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Just so everybody knows, I'm going to be leaving Qaaman's link in the description down below. As he mentioned before over on his channel, he recently put up his third and... Is this your final review part of GT? Yes. Or do you have one more?
Final review.
Third and final part of his GT review as a whole. Also, he did, if you want more questions answered by Qaaman himself, he did a solo answering question over there, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. But his channel link will be in the description down below. But that's going to wrap it up for me. I recently put up videos where I reviewed Battle of the Gods English dub and talked about my favorite villain, so keep an eye out for those on my channel. And do you have anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, two things. One thing that I wanted to say is also don't forget to check out Black and Fist 2. He's our other additional video partner for those of you who don't know. And
his link will also be in the description down below.
Right, for both his channel and for his Ask account. And, you know, Thundershot, I know I'm a guest here today, but, you know, I got some special words to share with these.
As you always say.
Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say in every single one of my videos, to have not a bad day, but a great day, guys.
We'll see you later.